Hey everyone, this is DJ Doctor Comedian here with the best medicine. Current schedule 1 to 2 p.m. on Mondays. Check online for our current schedule at www.drcomedian.com. Today we have Rebecca Huber from Phoenixville, Chester County, PA. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am part of an awesome comedy team in the Phoenixville, Pennsylvania area called the Last Minute Replacements, and I'm also part of an awesome committee planning Phoenixville Comedy Festival 2020. So we do comedy shows, we do festivals, we do training classes for people looking to try improv. So that's pretty much my only hobby.
Yeah, how do people get involved with that?
No matter where you are, there's usually an improv scene. So I suggest going on Meetup or looking on Facebook for events. There's so much that can be learned from improv that can be good for anybody. So if you're looking to be a better public speaker, if you're looking to improve your acting skills or be able to think on your feet a little bit better, I think improv is a great tool for that. So there's always a local comedy scene if that's something you're looking to get into.
What would you say you were like before you got into the improv scene?
Improv completely changed who I am. I used to be very shy, very quiet, very scared. I couldn't even go to the register without having an anxiety attack. And then I started doing some improv workshops in my area that, you do activities and games that kind of take you out of your head. After about a year of that, during that year, I started coming out of my shell. It completely changed my ability to kind of pretend to not have anxiety. So it completely changed. I'm now in a public speaking position at work, which I never could have done 5 years ago. It can really, for me, it just completely did a turnaround on who I am, I think.
That's fantastic. Like, absolutely. Do you think how's comedy in general helped you?
So many ways. First of all, it's a community, which is fantastic. I mean, you have people that are passionate about making other people laugh, which is everybody needs more laughter in their life. Everybody needs people that are positive, and I think comedy, even though it can be dark, can also be a really positive community that wants to lift each other up. So that's one way. I have with me a friend, Rowdy, who's on my comedy team, who has been doing this for a decade.
Yes.
More.
Yeah, what about you? Say some stuff.
Well, basically, I've been doing improv on and off for the better part of a little over a decade. It started off with just a bunch of friends who wanted to try it out, and then we had a very successful run of it, going all over, teaching different campuses how to set up teams, perform for them, give them workshops. Through improv, I've had so many different outlets, like holding something as simple as public speaking classes for businessmen who want to get better at public speaking. So, with improv, it's taken me on this buck wild ride. Throughout the years, I've seen 38 of the 48 continental states, and now that I've settled in Pennsylvania, I wanted to do it still, but for fun, instead of, an actual job, actual profit. So, with this, we are starting to build up our name. We've got classes, we've got shows that sell out consistently, and it's just a great feeling to have.
Mm.
Yeah.
How about
Me?
Yeah, how are you?
Hi, my name is Alicia, and I am working with Becky and Rowdy on bringing comedy out to the suburbs. So many of us have known like major meccas like New York City or Chicago or Los Angeles. Well, now we want to go ahead and put Phoenixville on the map. So we are looking forward to combining, our administrative skills and our comedy skills to go ahead and bring comedy to smaller suburb towns. And with a town like Phoenixville, it's so great because we have, basically our main street, which has everything on it, and to show what kind of comedy there is out there for families, for individuals, just to come out and see and to try it as well.
Yeah, it's something that you can try once and love and learn from that one experience.
Mm-hmm.
Some people come once and that's it. Some people come once trying it and then they end up sticking around for 5 years, which is awesome. It's kind of addictive once you get into the scene. So it can be really fun.
It really does sound like a great way to build community and, get out of your head. It's, I know my head's a terrible place to be.
Same. Yeah, it can be really fun, and it's really interesting for us to see people that come to we call them game nights. A lot of places call them improv jams. We just call them game nights, where it's geared toward beginners. You come out for $5. We do like a game night for about 2.5 hours where we teach you the basics. So we start at 0. So even if you have no idea what improv is other than your friend dragged you there, you can get the context of like, all right, you're in a safe place. We're going to do these games. We stay away from politics. We stay away from religion, and we just play games. Yeah.
Hey.
We're all tired of politics and religion discussions and fights on the internet. So we just make it a fun place.
I'm offended.
And we have an awesome team. I mean, there's more of us that were unable to come today, but the rest of the team, they teach the workshops, and you see people that come out that are nervous. They'll bring a friend. They'll bring a spouse. We've had people bring like their kids, like older kids. We've done like all ages workshops, and they come in kind of shaky and standing around the edges, and by the end, we've got tears rolling down our faces because we're laughing. So that's our goal. Like Alicia said, there's a huge comedy scene probably in Camden and Philly and all these bigger cities. The suburbs, sometimes you can't travel to the city. You've got kids, you got a job that keeps you there late. So we try to bring it to the people that normally wouldn't go to the comedy events.
Mm-hmm.
And we just try to make it accessible and affordable so that anybody can try it.
That's fantastic. Everybody should have a chance to be able to get out there and do something, engaging.
Yeah.
It's like this world is so disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen a community come out of these classes that we do. We do like 6 to 8 week classes.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody becomes friends. They go to shows together. And it's not our shows necessarily with the last minute replacements. It could be they're going to the casino for a comedy show. They're traveling and they're becoming friends. And because laughter connects you a lot more than some of the other hobbies that people have. So it's really cool to see people that are complete strangers on day 1 and they're close friends by week 6.
Yeah. Do you do like open mics or anything like that?
For us, improv's tough to do in an open mic situation because there's like 9 of us. But we have done like different like festivals and things like that where we get out there. And it's always interesting because everybody knows what comedy is. Nobody knows what improv is. So we always have to have the word comedy in there because, unless you're in the comedy scene or unless you caught episodes of Whose Line over the years.
Oh, that show.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's great. That's what we have to say. We're like, improv? You've seen Whose Line, right? And then they finally get it. Oh, that's what you guys do. And it's fun because it looks, if you're good, and, our team's pretty good. If you're good at it, you make it look a lot easier than it is. But we try to also make it easy for you to learn. Because it's easy to do. It's harder to do well. So we try to give you the tools to do it at least reasonably well because it's so much fun to do it well. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. So, let's see. Do you think that you are a positive person? Why or why not?
I would say I'm a realist. The cool thing, and like kind of relating it back to improv, because when you do improv, you relate everything to improv. With improv, you start to think of all the different possibilities and ways that a scene can branch out. I feel like in that realm, improv and just who I am has become a bit of like a realist. I like to look for all the things that can go wrong so that I can be prepared for them. But I also think that it's very valuable to still have hope and to have goals and to have a positive outlook. So I always call myself like a sunshine realist. Just, aim for the best, but prepare for the worst and see what comes out.
What about preparing for the worst and the best?
I mean, that's the goal. And that's why I surround myself with people like Alicia, who has extensive experience with like event planning, so she can think about what about these 100 things that could go wrong, but also what if we do sell out this show? What are the logistics if we sell out? How are we going to handle that angle? What are, all the positive things that can
Think
happen?
about all the anxiety that happens when you don't prepare for the best, but then you're not prepared.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Look at the whole picture, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Do you think you have any advice you can share with others?
Oh, there's so much. For me, the advice that I always give personally is fake it till you make it. I think that that's the skill that I got from comedy and from the people that I know in comedy is that even if you're not the most confident person walking into a room, if you have the skills to pretend to be, eventually it starts to come true. I mean, I met my husband, who is, by the way, significantly out of my league, because I pretended to be worthy of him, and he saw what was in there, and we are now, married with a daughter. So it's that to me is my advice, is that you can rely on the skills you have from work and from improv and from all those things to try to pretend to be the best version of yourself, and eventually you're going to start believing it. It's so much better than the negative self-talk that we do to ourselves, looking around the room, I'm not the smartest one here, oh my God, everyone's more competent than me. If you change that voice in your head, which is, you know what, I got this, I'll figure it out, I've done this, I've been in scenes with people who couldn't figure out how to get a word out of their faces, and I've made it work, I can do this. I don't know, Rowdy, you seem like you'd have good advice, or terrible advice.
It's all about teamwork, because you gotta trust the person you're performing with wholeheartedly. With that being said, there are so many things that can go wrong that you have to have a little bit of blind trust. And that's the scariest thing, to blind trust someone, but in the end, they're gonna make sure that you shine. Because if you don't, then you're not gonna be reflected on good with the other person. Then it's going to have like a disharmony. So that's why everyone always has each other's back. A big thing is trusting your gut, because it's just something in there that it's got me through my whole life. So I'm a firm believer of, if you get a gut feeling, you listen to that. Yeah, and just keep on keeping on, because even if you have like cognitive dissonance where you think that you're not funny, but everyone else says you are, you have to have that faith in others also. It could be you don't want to perform because you don't think that you're perceived as attractive enough. But people don't take into account that most of the time you're not attracted to yourself, so you can't see your self-worth.
Yeah.
So with that, you have to just keep on keeping on, because it's a constant something you work at. Everyone has anxieties. Everybody has different things. It's just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I saw this comic once said, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. And then it just had another person saying, you are good enough. You're just not your type.
I love that.
Yeah, I loved it too. It just totally warmed my heart.
And comedy as an industry is kind of an isolated industry as stand-up, which I will never be good enough to do stand-up, but I respect those who are. It's a very tough industry. It's very isolated. For me, improv is nice because you have to be part of a team. I mean, I'm sure there are one-man improv shows, but for us, we have a solid team of, there's 9 of us, and the most of us were founding members 5 years ago. We've stuck around, and as Rowdy was saying, you build that faith with each other. Even if there are disagreements on logistics and things like that, you start to feel that trust, and it's family for us, which is amazing, because I'm a very solitary person, except when it comes to improv. And now we're using our friendship and team to build a community, and I think what we've done could be replicated anywhere. You get the right people, you get 1 leader or 2 leaders who have a passion for bringing it to the masses, and that attracts other people that love improv or that love organizing, and it blows up. And we've just seen such success and so much just fun over the years with it.
It does sound very, very like a home to you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's becoming a home to those in the area. Again, those who don't want to travel into the nearest city, or those who don't know where to get started. If you're too scared to walk into a class that you paid $300 for, come to us. We're $5. And if it's horrible, you're only out $5. And you only drove 10 minutes instead of an hour. So it's, we try to make it that first step. And for some people, that first step becomes the ocean that they swim in. And for some people, it's just dipping their toe, and that's fine. Because it's fun.
Yeah.
We believe in the value of improv as so many different things.
Yeah. So, how would you think you'd want to change the world, or change yourself, or both? Oh, excuse me.
I think for me, For me, I think that everybody should have something that they feel passionate and strongly about. Whether it's comedy like it is for our group, or whether it's being in love with your job, or just being a good, partner in your relationship. So for me, if I can help people to feel more confident, more happy where they're at, then that's what I want to do. For me, it's improv, and I feel like that tool can be used anywhere. For example, I do like a lot of recruiting for work. I do public speaking there. So without improv, I wouldn't know how to navigate those weird questions and conversations that you do in interviews when you're the interviewer. But I just think that if you can find the confidence in yourself, whether it's through being a great musician, or finding that you're a good improviser, or writing a book that took you a year and a half and feels like an accomplishment, I think that's a really valuable thing for you individually, that you can bring that to the world.
Yeah. Why don't
Yeah.
you chip in some thoughts? How are you planning on changing the world or yourself?
Well, with my charismatic personality, that obviously is key to this, and just taking it one step at a time, becoming a very notable person in Phoenixville, and it's just going to keep spreading. It's going to be a household name. You're welcome.
Rowdy has a very healthy ego.
Fake it till you make it.
That's some good advice right there. Yeah, so how about all three of you? You can tell me, where'd you start out? And how did you get into this? How?
Oh gosh. For me, I took a workshop that was really pricey, but it turned me on to the idea of improv. And after a year of going to that, and because of the high price point and the fact that they did it weekly, nobody came. So I finally just said, you know what? I think I'm good at this enough. I'm good at event planning. I'm going to start hosting my own game nights. From those game nights, we had a lot of people that had done improv, started showing up. Rowdy had done improv. He saw the event. We have another guy on the team named Mike who used to run a team for years. He was looking for local improv. And Damon, who had done a lot of acting, all of us kind of came to this group that I was holding, and it just became a team. And we started performing, and all of these other things blew up out of it. And then this year, the comedy festival has come out of it, which I'm heavily relying on Alicia's expertise. She has a lot of background in event planning and things like that, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, I mean, actually my comic journey was, going down into the city and picking up classes that way, and, figuring out, what I liked, what I didn't. And then having, the opportunity of organizing this comedy festival with Becky and Rowdy is so great, because again, we can bring, people feeling that, I don't want to get in my car and drive down 76, like who does? But, it's accessible. That's, I think, what the main thing is. And yeah, having experience in corporate events, because anything and everything can happen at one of those. So I think having the strong team that we do, it's going to be a really nice special event for everybody in our community. So please come out, and we're thinking 2020. Yep.
Sounds very good.
For me, it was a turning point. I was always, quick-witted and quick mouth. And I was in school for a niche subsect of genetics. And my buddies, they decided, hey, we should try and do this. And that was the turning point. It was, am I going to be stuck in a lab for 12 hours a day? Or am I going to go out and do something that I know I'll enjoy? I'm a people person. So from there, we just started learning. We got like heavily trained, and we just started doing it. We got some momentum. We branched off. We started off in New York, and then we just kept going. And then it was a crazy wild ride for about 3 years, and then I moved here because, I wanted to, leave the life, but still kind of do it, just not as a job, because as great as it is, there is that burnout. Because if you do 4 shows, 5 shows a week, you can burn yourself out very, very easily. It's all about being healthy while you do it. And that's something that I learned. And then once I learned that, like, I met Becky, I met Mike, I met Dame, and I met the rest of the group. And we started building ourselves a little family. Because for me, I'm not very close with my actual family. But with them, it's like they really are because no matter what, they choose to be there. The people you perform with choose to perform with you. It's not they're stuck with you. So it's all about creating that family sense.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, you build your own family, especially if the ones that you originated from were not there for you, or they stopped being there for you, whatever the case may be. Um, so, where do you hope to end up in the future? This is a question for all three of you.
For me, ideally, I mean, if anybody could make a living off of comedy, I know it's just like going into Hollywood. It's 1 out of every 10,000 that actually make it. So we all have day jobs. For me, if I can keep bringing low cost, effective workshops to people and help them, even again, you come to one class for people, it changes them. That's my goal. I don't care if I ever get on a stage again, as long as I can keep bringing workshops and game nights to the masses. We do them for teens, we do them for adults. You know, the adult ones are a little less appropriate than the kid ones, so we separate them. That for me is my goal. I just think that improv changed me so much that I want to keep bringing it to people that just want to try it, and who knows, they might be amazing. Some of them really blow themselves away, they blow us away. Some people try it and hate it, but at least then they can check it off their bucket list. So that's my goal, is to just keep bringing it to people.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of different goals. There's personal, there's professional. That's a loaded question here because I would like improv to get that snowball effect and just keep going and going and going because we are teaching classes and the frequency of us teaching them are picking up. I decided to do an intensive where I'll teach people how I learned. I want to, just I want to keep the community alive. I want to keep it flourishing. I want it to grow. I want it to be something huge.
Well, for me, I'll make it short and sweet, which is I've always been a fan of the arts, especially comedy. I think making people laugh is one of the most awesome and scary things to do because you're putting yourself out there every day. And whether if it's on a business plan or on a stage, just want to make people smile. So, and we're all works in progress, and having, a little bit of an improv background, just having that help, an individual grow is an awesome thing.
Very, very nice. Let's see. So, tell us about a weird job that you had.
Oh, wow. Oofa doof, I've had
Here's that question.
working on a hot dog truck for a summer.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was a wild time, and from this day, unless I'm at a baseball game, I will not eat a hot dog or a sausage. I'll still eat a knish though.
I once delivered pizza back before GPS was affordable. I didn't have a phone because I was like a single mom at the time, and I lasted 1 month. The kicker for me was I was going to an address, couldn't find it anywhere, and this was, you would write down the directions before leaving with the pizza. I got lost. I finally found the place about half an hour later, and the guy that I was delivering to was deaf. So he started swearing at me in sign language, and I started crying. I was 21, 22 at the time.
We tried not to laugh.
It doesn't feel good to be sworn at in general. It feels really bad to be sworn at with really very large hand gestures.
Hey, you!
Yes, he was pointing at his watch, and he did flip me off, but he was also doing other things.
And I just handed him his pizza with tears pouring down my face and drove away as fast as I could. So, kudos to anyone who's in the food industry because I'm not skilled enough for that.
I can't beat that. So the only thing I guess in my past corporate life was I used to be an executive assistant. So my CEO needed to go to this major meeting out in New York City. So he's like, get me a hotel room close to the venue, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, fine. So I go ahead and I'm like, this is good. At the time, I was like on hotels.com, so their pictures looked fine. So he goes in and he gives me a call. He's like, Alicia. I said, yes. He's like, this room is orange. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and there's almost a bed in here. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, that's all right. Just find me somewhere else. Somewhere that, doesn't have an overwhelming smell. And I'm like, great. So I did do that. However, on the flip side of this job, I did meet Brent Selleck.
Cool.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So, why don't you tell me a funny story you'd like to share? Let's start with you, Rebecca.
Oh gosh, that implies that I'm funny, which I am not. I'm funny with a team. I'm not funny on my own.
Well, you got a team here.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a scene.
Do it. You won't chicken.
I will not.
You get a free chicken after.
Funny story. Rowdy's better at these than I am. We can cut this part out, right?
No.
Oh, gosh.
A lot of my stories would be redacted. You don't get a nickname like Rowdy unless you have to redact stuff on the radio. Think about that one.
Okay.
A lot of censoring. So let me think about that one.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I know that a lot of the stuff we've done at like our improv game nights have been insane. There is one game that we used to play where you'd put a blindfold on and tag each other out into the scene, and it doesn't really work well for a show, but it's fun to do at a workshop. And I have this repeating GIF somewhere on my computer where Mike, one of the founding members of the team, was walking around blindfolded, and he did a forward flip over a trash can because he was blindfolded, and just like almost walked into a wall. It's one of those not good for radio stories. You had to be there. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like there's just so many wacky people in my life that
We did a show at this place called Hidden River, and it was in between games. I was sitting next to one of the teammates, David. So I was joking that I was going to pour water on his pants to make him look like he had an accident. And I accidentally slipped and all the water spilled on it. So for solidarity, I poured it on myself. And then Steph poured it on herself, another member, so David wouldn't look silly. And it was just a hilarious moment that I'm going to remember forever. And after this is over, I'm going to text him about.
yeah. And so the whole audience thought that half of us had bladder issues. It was great.
Yep.
Thanks for doing that,
Hey,
Rowdy.
no problem.
Yeah. All right, you're gonna pass on this one.
I'm going to take a pass right now.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. You're not obligated. Okay. So, tell us something somebody might be surprised to know about you.
Oh gosh. I mean, for me, the thing that people have been surprised over and over is when I say that I've had pretty bad anxiety over the years, and when I tell them kind of my story as it relates to improv and meeting the team, everybody's surprised to see that, I'll be on stage. Sometimes I host the shows or certain games, and I'm talking to large groups of, we've had, 125 at our shows before. So not everybody's comfortable getting in front of that many people and talking, but I am at the point where I can do it. Everyone says that I'm lying when I tell them I used to have severe anxiety prior to improv, and I think that that's a testament to improv more than anything, because when you have that ability to think on your feet and that backup, knowing that there's confidence in the back of your head, I feel like you just have so much more empowerment. So for me, it's always, no way were you shy. No way did you have low self-esteem. And I'm always like, girlfriend, I still do. I still am, but I fake it.
Yeah, that's
You
so
have to.
validating, though. It's just like, oh, how you can't be sick. You look so healthy.
Right.
Like that's just nonsense,
Yeah.
and that's just something wrong with
Right.
society.
And we all have our days. I mean, there are days where I can't fake it, and that's okay. You've got to forgive yourself and recognize that that's not what's going to work right
And
then.
it's days like that that you have to trust especially people that you perform with, because last year I was having a lot of issues, personal issues, and I was very upset to the point where a couple of the members came down to my job to sit with me, so they knew that I would be okay. So even if you don't think you're okay and you have this new support system, you gotta trust them because they will always have your back. They have your best interest at heart.
Yeah. So, what brings you passion outside of improv, outside of comedy, etc. Like something more personal, like in general.
I would say family. I mean, I know that has been said, but I was working in the corporate sector for over, I don't know, 30 years, and during that time, a lot of stuff went into the job and not into loved ones, and now I have the time to go ahead and, I guess, as harsh as this might sound, be a part of my family, which they are ever so grateful for. So I guess that would be a major milestone for me.
For me, I like to get drunk. Can I say that?
Sure.
And ask people what makes their eyes light up. You know, I sit in a bar next to someone who's by themselves, and I say, what's your passion? What makes you light up? What makes your heart beat faster? And you will learn the craziest things about people. I mean, I've talked to people who were mid-divorce who light up at the thought of talking about their kids, or just, asking people what their passion is, which you get to do, which is awesome. I think it's cool because you learn a lot about people. You can be surprised that the guy in the business suit is actually a stand-up comedian, or the guy, who seems really shy actually is an amazing artist. Like, it's just cool to see people open up outside of what you're seeing of them physically. That's one of my favorite things to do. Alcohol helps.
For me, it's nothing as nice and caring as that. I'm a huge nerd. So for me, it's playing various games, whether it's tabletop or video games or trading card games. There's dealer's choice. I just like to do nerdy stuff. It's what I like.
Now you're gonna take another pass.
No, I was first.
Oh, you were
Which is-
first. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I bucked the system.
Oh, you did. So there was
She's
there
a
was all.
rebel. She's a rebel.
Yeah. So let's see. Anything else you'd like to share in general?
I think. Go ahead, Rob.
No, you go.
Okay. I was just say, I think that even if you have no interest in improv, because let's be fair, it's not for everybody. It's sometimes kind of silly. I think that finding a community, whether that's through tabletop gaming or through comedy or through church or through whatever that floats your boat, I think that's so important because you have that support system when you're going through a rough time. If that's one thing I could say is find somewhere to belong, even if you have to try 100 different things, find that community because they are out there, and that's important to me. Find that community that lets you be yourself and explore yourself.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you need to just find your niche. Life is all about that, and throughout life, it could change. It could stay the same for 20 years. It's all about finding where you will be at your best. You want to be your best you.
And finding a community like that is out there, and there are people that have your like mind. You just have to get the gumption up and to do it. And many people have, and it's so rewarding.
Yeah. So where can people find find you on the internet, and if you'd like to share your emails, feel free, or anything you'd like to
Sure.
share.
I mean, the best centralized location is our website, thelastminutereplacements.com. Yes, that is our name. And that links out to all of our other branches. For example, we have a children's class that's called Short Form Brainstorm that's formed out of members of the Last Minute Replacements. We have Phoenixville Comedy Fest 2020, which is phoenixvillecomedy.com. We have
Liking us on Facebook.
Yeah,
It's
Facebook.
2019.
the Last Minute Replacements. There's us, which is comedy. Right below us, you'll see a band made out of high school kids called the Last Minute Replacements. They haven't updated their Facebook since 2017, and even though I offered them $50 to delete it so we would be the only response, when you search for the Last Minute Replacements, they still haven't deleted it. So we're the top result if you search the Last Minute Replacements on Facebook. But yeah, that's the main place. We've got an awesome team, and we travel. We're also willing, if you have like a local organization that wants to introduce comedy or have a show, we've been known to do like lower cost shows. If someone wants to start up the thing in their community, we'll gladly come out and teach you how to do a workshop or do a show where we travel. So usually on weekends, because we all have day jobs, because improv does not pay the bills. But it's fun.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not unless you can commit 7 days a week to it, which none of us can. So
Yeah, nobody's got time for fun anymore.
no, we make it. We carve it out on Saturday nights. That's what we do. So
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, is there any final thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I mean, thank you for having us here. I think this
Yeah.
is
It was,
awesome.
it was
thank
a
you so
pleasure
much.
and a lot of fun
Yeah.
learning about this. And please, is there any? Okay, so this has been Rebecca Huber
Rowdy.
and
Alicia.
I apologize. I'm very bad with names.
That's fine.
It's okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us today, and you can catch us on Mondays from 1 to 2 p.m. on 91.5 WDBK. And if you would like to be interviewed as well, you can visit my website at www.drcomedian.com. We'll see you next time.